Good evening, I'm Maham Tawa with the news-making headlines around the world. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah returns home from the Saudi Kingdom, succeeding in patching the differences among Gulf countries. The cabinet praises the outcome of the GCC summit in Riyadh, fostering unity among its members and facing existing challenges. Car bombs target busy commercial areas in the Iraqi capital, killing at least 14 people. And political and military leaders in Burkina Faso choose a former foreign minister to be the new interim president. In our first item, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent cables of congratulations to His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of the Kingdom of Bahrain, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, Emir of the State of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President of the United Arab Emirates, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince, Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces in the United Arab Emirates. His Highness expressed his thanks and appreciation for their understanding, cooperation and positive participation, in addition to their constructive efforts during the brotherly meeting hosted by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, which reached desired results in consolidating the spirit of sincere cooperation and asserted the common destiny which bind together to GCC member states, putting the GCC march back on the right track to fulfill the aspirations of their people. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in which he expressed his deep thanks and appreciation for the warm reception and hospitality accorded to him and members of the accompanying delegation during his visit to the kingdom and meeting with the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad bin Khalifa, Emir of the State of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President of the United Arab Emirates, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince and Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces in the United Arab Emirates. His Highness the Emir expressed his deep pleasure at the brotherly meeting with their Majesties and Highnesses, the GCC leaders, with a view to consolidating sincere cooperation and to assert the common destiny of their countries. The meeting achieved the Riyadh Complementary Accord, which will boost unity of those countries and serve their common interest. It also achieved the resolution by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates and the Kingdom of Bahrain to restore their ambassadors to the State of Qatar. His Highness wished the custodian of the two holy mosques all the best of health and prosperity and progress for the people of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia under the wise leadership of the custodian of the two holy mosques. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah returned home from the Saudi Kingdom, where he succeeded in patching the differences among Gulf countries. More details with Salim Al Kendari.
His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah met with leaders of Gulf Cooperation Council countries in Riyadh in an unscheduled meeting discussing key issues and mutual interests. An official statement said following the one-day summit that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and the Kingdom of Bahrain have agreed to return their ambassadors to Qatar. GCC leaders also underlined that the Riyadh Accord would ease the opening of a new page that would resemble a solid foundation to push forward common action. The GCC also stated in a joint statement that this accord would ultimately create a strong Gulf bloc capable of confronting global challenges in order to maintain security and stability. The agreement also promises the opening of a new page that will present a strong base, especially in light of the sensitive circumstances the region is undergoing. The summit talks were hosted by custodian of the two holy mosques, Saudi King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz, and attended by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, UAE's Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Abu Dhabi Crown Prince, and Deputy Supreme Commander of UAE's Armed Forces, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Bahraini King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and Qatari Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Khalifa. In another developments, National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem praised the GCC Leaders Summit. The Parliament Speaker said in a statement that the outcome of the meeting was assuring and gave the GCC member states a positive boost in ensuring their solid cooperation. He lauded the extraordinary efforts exerted by His Highness the Emir to break the ice in the relations among the GCC brothers and to tackle the GCC rifts, saying that such confidence in His Highness has been demonstrated before.
Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah received at Sif Palace this morning His Excellency Ambassador of the Republic of Slovakia to the State of Kuwait, Pavol Spatic, on the occasion of assuming his post in the country. His Highness the Crown Prince also received His Excellency Ambassador of the Republic of Brazil to the State of Kuwait, Antonio Carlos do Nascimento Pedro, on the occasion of assuming his post in the country. His Highness the Crown Prince also received at Sif Palace His Excellency Ambassador of the Republic of Georgia to the State of Kuwait, Roland Perdezi, on the occasion of assuming his post in the country. The meetings were attended by the Undersecretary of His Highness the Crown Prince for Protocols and Ceremonies, Sheikh Mbarak Subah Al-Salim Mahmoud Al-Subah. The National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem chaired today a meeting of the Assembly Bureau, which was attended by its members. In a statement to the press, the House Secretary Adil Al Khrafi said the Bureau praised the efforts made by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah, humanitarian leader, at the Riyadh meeting, which was attended by the GCC leaders. He also commended the political shrewdness of His Highness the Emir, which succeeded in bringing the countries of the region closer, reflecting Kuwait's keenness on the Gulf unity. Mr. Al-Khrafi said the House Bureau agreed on the official visit to Jordan and Djibouti by the Deputy Speaker Mbarak Al-Khrainij. Council of Ministers praised the positive results reached at the historic meeting in Riyadh yesterday evening by leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council at the invitation of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The Council of Ministers highly appreciated this invitation, which reflected the determination of the custodian of the two holy mosques to consolidate the GCC and to achieve integration among its members. The Council of Ministers also hailed the positive and constructive spirit which dominated the talks and highly and proudly valued the tremendous and continuous efforts made by His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Subah to foster unity among GCC members. The Cabinet said these efforts reflected the far-sightedness of His Highness the Emir as well as his keenness to preserve unity of the Gulf Cooperation Council and his deep awareness of the challenges and risks which the Council countries are facing. The Council of Ministers said this historic accord would strengthen unity of the GCC and protect its interests in the future. It will also open new spheres for serious cooperation among its members, which will shield the region against challenges of the prevailing situation in the region in the manner that will foster its security and stability. The Council of Ministers also expressed hope and optimism about the upcoming meeting of Their Majesties and Highnesses, the GCC leaders, in their forthcoming summit meeting in Doha to further continue the march and push forward the GCC joint action. The Council of Ministers took note in its meeting today, which was chaired by His Highness Sheikh Jabal Mbarak Al Hamad Al Subah, the Prime Minister, of the message to His Highness the Emir from His Excellency President Hassan Rouhani of the Islamic Republic of Iran, which focused on bilateral relations and means of promoting them in the future. The Council of Ministers also took note of the message to His Highness the Prime Minister from His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic of Chad. Speaking after the meeting, the Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs, Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah Al-Mbarak Al-Subah, said the Council of Ministers welcomed the visit to Kuwait by His Excellency Mr. Adriama, Prime Minister of the Republic of Albania, between the 18th and 20th of November. He added that the Council was also briefed by the Minister of Social Affairs and Labour, Hind Sabih Barak Sabih, regarding the findings of the committee set up to address fake employment of the national labour force in non-governmental organisations as per the Law No. 19 for the year 2000 and the related regulations. The report revealed some irregularities which require unified efforts to cut down their consequences. The Council of Ministers approved a draft decree appointing Badr Abdulrahman al-Rifai as Assistant Secretary General in the General Secretariat of the Supreme Council of Planning and Development with the rank of Assistant Under-Secretary. The Minister of State for Cabinet Affairs concluded that the Council of Ministers also discussed the political issues in the latest Arab and international developments. He added that the Council of Ministers extended deep congratulations to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said of Oman on the National Day of the Sultanate of Oman and praised the great achievements in Oman under His Majesty's leadership. The Saudi news agency said Their Majesties and Highnesses, leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council, arrived in their meeting in Riyadh last night at an accord by which the ambassadors of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates and Bahrain will return to the state of Qatar. The joint final communique issued after their leaders' meeting said the leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council met in Riyadh at the kind invitation of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who called for the strengthening of true cooperation and asserted the common destiny of the GCC member states. The Saudi news agency described the accord as the beginning of a new chapter in the country's relations that will push forward the GCC march and speed up the drive towards creating a strong and tenacious structure in the Gulf to face the critical circumstances in the region. Intense clashes spurred across East Jerusalem overnight after 32-year-old bus driver Yusuf Ramoni was hanged to death by settlers in his bus late at night. He was found dead with marks of beating on his body. Fatma Abdel Karim has more in this report from Ramallah.
32-year-old Palestinian bus driver Yusuf Ramoni was found hanged inside his vehicle late on Monday night with beating marks on his upper body. Al-Ramoni's family accused extremist settlers of murdering him. Soon after the news of his martyrdom was spread, clashes spurred in East Jerusalem between Israeli forces and angered Palestinians who saw this crime as a continuation of the hate crimes by settlers.
They shocked him. Why human would kill another with his viciousness? They cannot be humans. To the whole world I say, to all leaders and all people I say, you know you are accomplices in murdering my husband.
The family of late Yusuf Ramoni, which had excluded the possibility of suicide contrary to the Israeli police's story, requested an autopsy to be carried out to determine the cause of the death in the presence of a Palestinian pathologist. They said it was clear Yusuf was intentionally murdered.
I saw with my eyes. I saw that my son was choked. His neck was marked with the string like a fire line. There were scars on his face. He had bruises in his ass, his back, his waist. I saw that in the hospital before the autopsy.
The situation is escalating fiercely while Israeli forces detained several Palestinians and set up steel barriers throughout Jerusalem and deployed police troops and special forces heavily near the gates of the old city and inside it.
The situation has become very dangerous. We fear for our lives and our jobs. Even as drivers, there is no more security now. We are reconsidering all our steps. What happened is beyond our imagination.
With more hate crimes taking place in the streets of Jerusalem, the spur of tension could get out of control, threatening not only the chances of restoring calm, but also the diplomatic challenge ahead of the Palestinian leadership to hold Israel accountable on the international arena. Fatma Abdel Karim, Kuwait TV, Ramallah, Palestine.
At least 8 people were killed today in a car bomb attack in Baghdad. The car detonated on a street in the Mishtal neighborhood of eastern Baghdad, wounding 15 people. It was the first of 2 car bombs targeting busy commercial areas in the Iraqi capital today. The second bomb took place in Baghdad's western Amiriya district, almost also hitting a commercial street and killing at least 6 people and wounding 16 others. No one claimed responsibility yet for today's blasts. Authorities in Burkina Faso named today former Foreign Minister Michel Kafando as transitional president in a key step towards returning the West African country to democracy in the wake of a brief military takeover. Michel Kafando's candidacy was proposed by the army, who insisted the candidate must come from the civil society, and his nomination was welcomed by all. Kafando was chosen as part of a charter hammered out after longtime President Blaise Compaoré was toppled on October the 31st following mass protests, only to be replaced a day later by Lieutenant Colonel Isaac Zida. Kafando will name a prime minister to appoint a 25-member government, but will be barred from standing at elections planned for late next year. The European Union and Ukraine signed a security reform agreement as foreign ministers gathered for a meeting in Brussels to discuss November's elections held by pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine. Russia supports the elections, but the UN, the EU and the United States said they violate Ukraine's constitution and the terms of September's ceasefire agreement. Federica Mogherini, High Representative of the Union of Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, said there was a need to relaunch a dialogue with Russia and that she was seeking more ways to assist Ukraine in implementing economic and institutional reforms. Kuwait National Society for Fraternity hosted a ceremony marking the International Day of Tolerance, an event that is celebrated for the first time in Kuwait. In 1996, the UN General Assembly, by Resolution 51 of 95, invited UN member states to observe the International Day for Tolerance on the 16th of November, with activities directed towards both educational establishments and the wider public. Heba Abdulrahman has more details in the following report.
With the attendance of Hind al-Suwaih, Minister of State for Planning and Development Affairs and Minister of Social Affairs and Labor, the Kuwait National Society for Fraternity, or the KNSF, celebrated the International Tolerance Day, which is celebrated on 16th of November worldwide. The event aimed at stressing fraternity, brotherhood, and the importance of providing what could be the Kuwaiti society of ideas, projects, and practices related to national cohesion and could confront the dangers of fragmentation.
Today is National Day of Tolerance, and for the first time we celebrate this day in Kuwait. It's a very important day because this day was already adopted by the United Nations in 2005 after it was initiated, the idea initiated by the UNESCO. And we in the Kuwait Society for Fraternity, National Fraternity, celebrate this day, and we call for the tolerance and intolerance, and we call for brotherhood, and we have to live in this country. As we come in this country, actually the history of Kuwait, people in Kuwait has come from all the neighborhood. That's what has made the Kuwait is a country. Now with all these people that have became the people of Kuwait, they have brought with them different culture, different ideas, different arts and everything.
We're celebrating the International Day of Tolerance, which is set at the United Nations, the General Assembly in 1969. And since then, when we look to the societies around us, definitely the quarrel inside the society, the killing, that's really taking over all these society which were once upon a time were holding themselves together as a united people in their own country. Now they are shattered here and there, not because they are strangers, no, but because they are not tolerant to each other, whether it's on Islamic basis or religious basis or ethnic basis.
Recognizing this day as the International Tolerance Day by the UN followed on the United Nations Year for Tolerance 1995, proclaimed by the UN General Assembly in the year 1993 at the initiative of UNESCO, as outlined in the Declaration of Principles on Tolerance and Follow-up Plan of Action for the year. The 2005 World Summit Outcome document furthered the commitment of heads of state and government to advance human welfare, freedom and progress everywhere, as well as to encourage tolerance, respect, dialogue and cooperation among different cultures, civilizations and people. The Kuwait National Society for Fraternity was established with the aim of raising people's awareness of the importance of the national unity in building the country, as well as strengthening the tolerance and acceptance among Kuwaiti people. From the Kuwait National Society for Fraternity in Dasma area, I am Heba Abdurrahman reporting for English News.
In our final item tonight, we move to the local financial news, where the main indices of Kuwait Stock Exchange ended today's trading on a mixed board. The weight index read 471.01 with a marginal gain of 0.12 points, while the price index posted substantial drop to the level of 7,053.73, shedding 53.92 points. The KSX 15 index registered at 1,140.18 with a gain of 2.39 points. The number of trades amounted to 3,765 transactions worth about 19 million Kuwaiti dinars, with around 165 million shares changing hands. The Asman Diabetes Institute hosted a conference that focused on molecular mechanisms of diabetes, particularly shedding light on the current situation in Kuwait. This is the second symposium organized in collaboration with Harvard Medical School. Sarah Periscope has more in this report.
Asman Diabetes Institute, or DDI, in cooperation with Harvard University in Boston, the United States, organized a symposium entitled Molecular Mechanisms of Diabetes and Its Complications, Lessons from the Endothelium, Heart and Placenta.
So we at Harvard have been helping stimulate collaborative research, education in the field of diabetes in order to promote better health and research here in Kuwait. Dasman is a recognized leader in diabetes research, and through some personal interactions of Dr. Behbahani, the general director here, and folks at Harvard, this effort was developed. My role in this is to help stimulate research collaboration between scientists back at Harvard and the excellent scientists here at Dasman. It's been a very productive few days. There have been many one-on-one meetings between the scientists that came with me from Boston, and we also had one from London. And we're hopeful that many successful projects will come of this that will lead to better treatments for diabetes worldwide, but focused here in Kuwait predominantly. So we hope this will be one of many ongoing symposia. This is actually the second, and the first one was done about 6 months ago. And each one has had a slightly different focus in terms of the biology and complications of diabetes.
The first day of the conference discussed topics related to cardiovascular complications in diabetes and cardiovascular complications of chronic kidney disease, as well as microvascular complications unique to Kuwait.
I will be talking this afternoon about the complications of diabetes during pregnancy, as to how uncontrolled diabetes can lead to complications for both the mother and the baby. during a normal pregnancy. Almost nearly 30% of patients in Kuwait suffer from diabetes. I am particularly interested in some of the early events by which babies who are born to mothers with diabetes can have both short-term complications and long-term complications. We know diabetes is the biggest cause of heart attacks. We also know during pregnancy, uncontrolled diabetes can lead to premature babies. What we call as type 1 diabetes that complicates pregnancy and gestation diabetes, the prevalence is approximately 10 to 15% throughout the world. We don't have the statistics for Kuwait, but just talking with the physicians here, it appears that it's relatively common, and my guess would be somewhere between 20 to 30% of pregnancies are complicated by one form of diabetes or other. DASMAN is a leader in diabetes research. It's got excellent facilities, outstanding group of investigators who are committed to studying how diabetes occurs and the complications of diabetes. So we're excited that we can collaborate with these researchers.
The second day of the symposium focused on gestational diabetes in Kuwait, the pathogenesis of obesity, nutrient sensing mechanisms, and metabolic disease. This is the second time that Desman Diabetes Institute has collaborated with Harvard University in the U.S. to organize such a symposium within 6 months, paving the way for a more fruitful knowledge-based cooperation between the Kuwaiti-based institute and one of the best medical institutions in the world. From the Desman Diabetes Institute, this is Sarah Glove reporting for English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a pleasant time. I'm Maham Tawa. Before we go, we remind you once again of our main top stories. Have a pleasant time and good night. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah returns home from the Saudi Kingdom, succeeding in patching the differences among Gulf countries. The cabinet praises the outcome of the GCC summit in Riyadh, fostering unity among its members and facing existing challenges. Car bombs target busy commercial areas in the Iraqi capital, killing at least 14 people. And political and military leaders in Burkina Faso choose a former foreign minister to be the new interim president.